There he is. Donald Trump was just spotted on Saturday morning looking deeply unwell. The White House says he's doing great and he's looked better than ever. But as I zoom in on this photo, that's not what I'm seeing right now. As you all know, Donald Trump did not have a public appearance since about Wednesday. He's been trying to cover up that hand of his, which is decomposing before our eyes. Those ankles of his are so inflamed. The White House was saying that it was just a minor issue, although many have been speculating it's something far more serious. And again, he looks deeply unwell this morning in the photo that's being released. Contrast that with the photo of former President Biden from this morning as well with his granddaughters. You see him right there. Great beach day with two of my favorite humans. That's from Ashley Biden's post right there. And you can see that former President Biden looking very healthy. And he's actually the one who's transparently told the country what he's going through. Similarly, you have California Governor Gavin Newsom posting the following: "Have a great Labor Day weekend, Patriots. God bless the working people who make America great." I mean, just contrast that photo of what Gavin Newsom posted to how Donald Trump looks this morning. You know what? In fact, you don't have to do that because Governor Newsom did that for us. He put a side-by-side photo of himself and Donald Trump. Governor Gavin Newsom just called Donald Trump America's biggest loser after the Court of Appeals ruled that Donald Trump's tariffs are illegal. Now, in addition to Donald Trump looking and presenting physically sickly, frail, and weak, he also is behaving physically frail and weak. I mean, his behavior towards Vladimir Putin is nothing short of a nuclear bootlicker. It's really an embarrassing thing to be an American and watching Donald Trump's handling of this, turning the United States into like a Soviet satellite, not standing with our allies, not being the leader of the free world, not defending Ukraine. I've been covering a ton the ultimate betrayal by this Trump regime to Ukraine, but Ukraine is working with Europe and fighting on. Just look at some of these headlines, though, we're seeing locally this morning here in the United States. U.S. farmers are pulling back on spending in threat to the rural economy. John Deere had major layoffs this week. The company Caterpillar has been warning about tariffs. This is just the beginning of what we're going to see here. We know that fertilizer costs are way up. Farmers are absolutely suffering, especially as we're seeing, for example, China kind of completely wane off the United States agriculture industry, moving towards Brazil. We're seeing a lot of countries do that as well. Australia, Canada, finding ways to just avoid all U.S. products. Europe. Take a look right here. Another headline from this morning. The CDC is falling deeper into crisis. What it means for the nation's health. Months of upheaval at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention have undercut the agency's work, employees said, and put the future of vaccines into doubt. I've never seen an instance of an advanced, affluent country with among the finest scientific resources under assault, not from small pockets of the public or people who have unusual beliefs, but from the government itself. Indeed, it is the government that is run by the quacks right now, who are preventing us from getting vaccines, medication, energy, because Donald Trump doesn't like windmills and doesn't like solar, but he likes big, beautiful coal. It's so utterly stupid. How about this headline from the Wall Street Journal? The Wall Street Journal, folks. 6 months into tariffs, businesses have no idea how to price anything. It highlights this North Carolina company that says the tariff uncertainty has given way to new problems, what to charge. Everyone is struggling to figure out what to do. Even as tariffs change week to week, this business owner said, and we're hearing this from business owners across the country, we cannot go back 2 weeks later and say, oh, sorry, now it has to be this price. They just don't work that way. I was recently at a round table with a number of business owners, and I was listening to all of them in all different industries, and they were all telling me the exact same thing. Meanwhile, Donald Trump this morning is sending these types of emails out to his supporters. These grifty, bizarre, kind of love-bombing, cult tactic emails like this one at 6:51 a.m. You were on my mind the other day. Dear Ben, as I was flying aboard Air Force One the other day, I couldn't help but reflect on our incredible journey we've taken together. We've been through it all. Rallies that shook the political establishment, victories the experts called impossible, witch hunts that tried to break us, and the endless attacks from the radical left. And in spite of every storm we faced, one truth has remained. You've never left my side. I want to know what you think about our progress. Then you click the link and he asks you for money because it's all one big grift. But that's the love bombing tactics of a cult leader. We've been through it all. Don't leave me. I mean, Donald Trump clearly knows that his poll numbers are plummeting right now. They're in the mid-30s right now as Americans truly despise that vile piece of trash in the Oval Office. Donald Trump then sends the following. Ben, we're thinking about a rebate check. We have a lot of money coming in. It's coming in tremendous numbers from tariffs. There's a concept of making a dividend to the people of this country who have paid a lot of taxes and got nothing for it. There's a concept of a plan, everybody. A tariff is a tax. And by the way, in the order by the Federal Circuit Court of Appeals on Friday, which struck down Donald Trump's tariffs and called them patently illegal, the court made it very clear. It says, tariffs are a tax. The taxing power is one of Congress. Tariffs are taxes. It was in the opinion too. Then Donald Trump says, there's a possibility that after we pay down some debt, we may give you a dividend check. We're thinking about a rebate. I know it would be very nice. Before my end of the month deadline, I need you to know, would you want a Trump rebate check? Before my end of the month deadline. So you have to, he's lying about giving rebate checks. He's lying about what tariffs is. And then he's begging for money if you want the rebate check. There are some who in a healthy legal environment, this is just my opinion, could call that wire fraud in a healthy legal environment. But that's not where we're in right now. But we do need a very healthy perspective on how we consume media. It's very, very important for me here in the news I share with you. For example, when I'm sharing with you news that the concentration camp in Florida that the MAGAs have labeled Alligator Alcatraz is going to be shut down. A federal court has ordered it as being unlawful. They've been kind of unable to run it effectively anyway. Donald Trump's run Alligator Alcatraz the way he ran his casinos, completely into the ground. No shocker there. I want to know what's the cost also to American taxpayers, Florida taxpayers. Overall, this thing's kind of potentially cost $400-500 million, maybe close to $1 billion. But in terms of Florida taxpayers, about $218 million that they're going to have to foot the bill for what? For 60 days of a concentration camp? Now, what I found very interesting about this is only 10% of the coverage on this came from right-wing media sources, and 90% of the coverage on this fact that the taxpayers are getting screwed by Trump and MAGA's failed policies are coming from left-wing and center journalists and center sources. And that's interesting to me because it shows you the brainwashing that's going on. And I want to know all of the perspectives that are out there. Why is right-wing consumers of information not getting the data? Well, they're just simply, it's not being reported on. So I often get asked, Ben, what research tools do you use in order to do your reporting? I use a bunch, but my number one research tool is something called Ground News, and it's essential for me to see through the double standards in the current media ecosphere. So if you go to ground.news/MTN or scan the QR code, we're going to give our viewers 40% off Ground News' top-tier Vantage plan, which will get you unlimited access to everything that I use. Ground News is subscriber-funded. They don't rely on ads that could introduce bias. Subscribing supports our channel and their independent team to keep the media transparent. So go to ground.news/MTN or scan the QR code. We're giving our viewers 40%. That's ground.news/MTN groundnews.news/MTN. Our viewers will get 40% off that Ground News top tier Vantage plan. Now, I always want to get international news perspectives at all. You'll recall from earlier this week, I think I reported it Wednesday, maybe Thursday, the latest, but I think I reported it on Wednesday as well. Prime Minister Modi not returning Donald Trump's phone calls. I was reading the media within India. I want to see what India media sources are reporting. The same way when I'm covering Japan, I want to see what Japanese media sources. And that's how I'm bringing you this news. What are they saying? What are they saying in parliament in India, in parliament in Japan? That's what's important to me, because we're so propagandized in the United States by corporate media here that is just doing the bidding of the right-wing oligarchy. So I reported that Prime Minister Modi had not been returning Donald Trump's calls at all. And people were like, where are you getting that from? I said, the India parliament, that's where I'm getting it from. And now we're learning a New York Times report is confirming on Saturday that our reporting on the MeidasTouch network was correct, that Modi has been ignoring Donald Trump. And of course, we all know that Modi is taking that visit to be with Xi Jinping in Shanghai, and that will be taking place very soon. Similarly, Japan canceled its visit to the United States. And they've been ghosting Donald Trump as well, because Donald Trump's been lying about the trade deal with Japan. And Trump's been saying, Japan's giving us $550 billion. 90% we get to keep the profits of, and only 10% Japan keeps the profits of. It's a 90-10 split. It's like a signing bonus to us. I said, that's not what Japan said. Our corporate news originally reported it. Donald Trump says this great deal with Japan. I'm like, that's not happening. That there's no deal. He is a fraud in everything he does. Like, I'll give you an example. Just take a look at what he also sent this morning as well. I opened this up. This is one of his emails. Ben, I just played my Trump card. These are hot off the presses. Congratulations. Ben, you made the cut. Ben, you must hurry. I'm only offering membership to a limited number of people. The Trump Gold Card. As soon as you accept this offer, I'll personally ship you a metal gold card that grants you access to my premium MAGA club. Hurry. Spots are filling fast. All you got to do is contribute at least $47 and I'll ship you this card. This is how he acts. I want you to think about that. This is how he acts with our trading partners. It is gross and it is utterly disgusting. And that's why I'm really happy that California Governor Gavin Newsom mocks him. And it's pissing Fox off and MAGA World off so much that Newsom is mocking him. Here's MAGA Republican Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna saying that, oh, Gavin Newsom's trying to compare himself to Trump. There is no comparison. He's not trying to compare himself to Trump. He's mocking Trump. He's mocking you. Are these people so dense that they don't realize they're being mocked? Here, play this clip.
So we've been watching as Gavin Newsom tries to cosplay as Trump and tries to kind of come off as this tough guy. First of all, is he succeeding at being sort of a macho man? And do you think he's the future of the Democrat Party?
I definitely think he's angling for a 2028 run against the president, which is why he keeps trying to swing up at the president. But the fact is that Gavin Newsom compared to President Trump, there is no comparison because Gavin Newsom, as far as his policy goes, is a complete loser. But what I will also tell you is that as of right now, from the Democrat Party's platform, they are soul searching. I just think that, unfortunately for Gavin Newsom, according to his own party, he's too male and he's too white, which again puts him probably as someone who will struggle to get that nomination from his own party.
That's why when I watch that, sometimes I've said this before, I feel like I'm in a zombie movie where I haven't been bitten by the zombies and the MAGAs are all these zombies. And I'm like, what world are you living in? This is so weird. You have a strange cult leader. Don't you think for yourself? Don't you realize this guy who's bankrupted everything he's touched, who's bragged about sexually assaulting women because he's rich, who's been found liable for sexual assault, who's been convicted of felonies, who's bankrupted company after company? Like, this is your guy? That's your guy. It's so it's so hard for me to fathom. This sickly weirdo is your guy. Very strange. And here Anna Paulina Luna talks about how she thinks that Gavin Newsom's social media game is a little bit off. Here, play this clip.
What about his attempt to be all macho? Do you think he's succeeding at that?
I think it's cringy. I think, you know, if you're going to be genuine, you want to actually talk to people about how to make this country better, do that, run on that platform. But the fact is that he's trying to get too much into the clickbait social media influencer game. And as someone who knows that game quite well, and as someone who's now a politician, I will tell you that there's a certain time where you have to separate the two. And now's that time, Gavin.
And finally, you've got MAGA Mike Johnson preparing to, he recessed Congress to cover up the Epstein files. This week, the MeidasTouch is going to be covering the Epstein victims who will be on Capitol Hill. I'm so proud to be able to bring you what the victims of Epstein and Ghislaine are going to be saying. They want the files released, and we're going to be streaming that live here on the MeidasTouch Network. Make sure you watch that. But here, in this final clip I'm going to show you, you have MAGA Mike Johnson saying, why would we even need to take a vote in the House to release the Epstein files? The DOJ's turned it all over. They turned over 33,000 files. Those were old files that had been previously produced before. We're not stupid. Turn over the files that have Trump's name on it and other people's names on it. Stop trying to cover up for the sex trafficking pedo billionaire cabal and just give us the freaking information. It's sickening what you're doing, how you're transferring Ghislaine over to the better facility. It's gross. You're covering up for convicted sex traffickers. It's disgusting. Here, play this clip of MAGA Mike.
So the discharge petition from Thomas Massie and Ro Khanna, I hope I'm using the right word, will ripen soon?
Well, no, I guess it would if they get the right signature.
If they get the signature,
but it's now a moot point. It's not even necessary. I mean,
you don't think it's going to happen?
There may be a floor vote of one measure or another. We have our own resolutions to do all this, but it's sort of not necessary at the point because the administration is already doing this. They're turning it over.
So I don't think that Congressman Khanna and Massie think that yet, at least from what I've heard. And I don't know that the 218 people that they think they have as signatories of that think that either. If they do get the signatures, will you allow that to come to a vote on the floor?
We might not even wait for that. We have our own resolutions to affect this same thing. But the process is playing out as it should, and very soon the American people will have that information, and they should have had it all along. That's my view.
But you can't guarantee there'll be a vote on the discharge petition.
There probably will be a vote of some sense, but we've got to get everybody collected again and build consensus around that.
Listen, Mr. Speaker.
There you have it, folks. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
New Meidas merch drop. Check out the latest pro-democracy sticker packs, t-shirts, hats, sweatshirts, and more. All at store.meidastouch.com.